Hello everyone and welcome back to Greenpine Zoo and Gardens and our big Pandasia project, which we started a few weeks ago. And last week we started part 1 of the building for our Panda Palace. We made the front of the building and the left side of the building, which is going to be also the gate for our first panda habitat, which we are going to build today. So in today's episode we are going to work a little bit on the outside of the building once again, so that we actually have the complete layout of the building almost finished, I have to say. Not completely finished because it takes a few more steps before we do that, but we are making very big progress. We're also going to take care of the architectural problem that I was talking about in last week's episode, that we did have to have a look at it because the staircase was not perfect, let's say it that way. Yeah, and that's why we are going into it right away in the beginning. I found a solution, but I had to change the stairway completely. So I did have to delete the complete staircase, as you can see right here, and just change it a little bit so that we are going up not inwards to the building, but we're going up outwards to the building, so that it doesn't cause problems with the roof anymore. And this works pretty fine in the end, and I am so happy with it. You have seen the staircase, how it was finished. You're going to see it in a few minutes once again, as we are going to work on it a little bit more. We're going to make it a little bit more beautiful, and we're also going to take care about the gift shop and also the restaurant. And we are going to actually make it work in the end, and I am so happy with that everything is going to work out, and we will have a toilet in the end as well. So a pretty successful episode this is going to be, I guess. But still, in the end of this episode we are far from finished, so we have lots and lots of things to do, not only in this building but for the complete area here. Because I told you in last week's episode that we, here you can see the gift shop on the right side, I managed to put it in there and make it work with the elevated path as well, so I'm very happy about that. And we're also going to make it work for the restaurant as well. So as you can see, the restaurant build itself is pretty big. Which is no surprise, we knew that before, but that also means that the seating area for the restaurant is going to be a little bit small. So but that's no problem at all, because I decided we're just going to have this 3 seating or these 3 tables in the inside of the building, and we're going to have a few more on the outside on the terrace of the building, which is pretty cool. And I'm also thinking about to have some more right here on the ground floor of the building, the entrance to the pandas. I don't know if it would make sense if we would have seating there, but yeah, maybe we could. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about if we should have more seating on the lower level of the building, especially in the front of the building where you enter into the indoor area of the pandas, or if you say no, this wouldn't make sense at all. So then I'm going to leave it with the few tables that we do have in the restaurant on the upper floor. So we are also going to create the indoor area for the pandas, and we are going to have 2 indoor areas, as you see most of the times, if not all the time, when it comes to giant panda habitats. So yeah, the ones that I do remember always have one outdoor area for the female and a separate one for the male, and they only get together if they should make babies, let's call it that way. So I decided I wanted to have that too. Both of the habitats are not going to be connected at all, which might be a problem in real life, but not in the game. So we're going to live with that. Because at this point in the game and in the state of the whole building, it just would not have been possible to come up with a solution where we could connect both of the habitats. And so, yeah, as I said, we are going to just live with it and be happy about everything that we are going to create. Yeah, so by the end of today's episode, we are going to have one giant panda in here as well. So we are going to have the male and have a beautiful outdoor habitat for it. And the plan is that in next week's episode, we are going to have the female as well on the right side of the building. And I also would love if we could finish the inside of the building as well. And the outside as well, because we're not completely finished by the end of today's episode with everything. So would be great if we could manage it, but yeah, as I really want to go into detail, especially on the inside of the gift shop and the restaurant, and then we have to do the indoor habitats for the pandas and the outdoor habitat for the female. I think it might be very possible that there's going to be another one before we finish everything in here. So I hope you guys don't mind it, and I hope you guys still enjoy the process of me creating all of this, because I really do, and I think it's going to be very, very, very beautiful in the end. Yeah, as you can see, we do have a toilet right now, and I also wanted to do something that I also did for my DLC Zoo series in Sacred Sky Wilderness, as I was building the viewing area for the moose and for the cougar. Because I think I said it in last week's episode as well, that I usually try to make everything accessible in my zoos that I'm building. Yeah, and I also told you that I didn't do it for the complete snow leopard area, but for most of the parts, so that you can see every animal and you can see it on different levels as well. So I wanted to make sure that the restaurant and the gift shop, as well as the upper level viewing deck for our visitors, where they can see the pandas from up above, would also be accessible for everyone. So I decided we're going to have an elevator on the opposite side to the toilet, which is pretty easy to create if you do something like this. Just use those two metal pieces, set them apart a little bit, then frame them with some metal beams, and yeah, there you go. That's all you have to do to create an elevator. So it's not that difficult, and it could make your builds a little bit more realistic. So we have the doors on the lower level, we have the doors on the upper level. Let's give it some, how do you say it, buttons? So you can call the elevator, I guess. And yeah, done. That's all you have to do. It's really that simple. So yeah, it's very simple, and it makes a huge difference, especially for people with disabilities or with walking disabilities, just to make them feel seen. So you don't have to do that much to make some people very happy and feel seen, which I think is very important. So let's create the deck areas. I wanted to have it in the same style that we do have the lower levels, so with the railings here and everything, and with this light color, so that we do have a little color accent here as well. And yeah, that is also something that we are going to finish in next week's episode. So I think we are going to change the color on the seating areas as well, but here you go. It looks pretty nice. It works, so our guests can walk up there, they can use the gift shop, they can use the restaurant. Perfect. I'm very, very happy with that, and we also are very close to have a connection between our cat house and the panda building. So the next problem that I had, that I was talking about last week's episode as well, is we needed to have a backstage area for the pandas, and the indoor area for them is way too small to create a backstage area there. So we had to add a little building here, and I think in the end it makes sense and it looks pretty nice. So we just have this little building where we can have a backstage area, some backstage props in here, and we do have a connection for the indoor area for the giant pandas as well, so that our keepers are going to enter right here in this little keeper building, let's call it like that, and from there they can walk into the indoor habitat for the pandas and release them also into their indoor habitat, and our keepers are also going to be able to walk into the outdoor habitat. But you're going to see that in a few minutes, because I'm going to create something very special that I wanted to do, that in the end worked out after I had to do some minor changes to it, but you're going to see that in a few minutes. And here you do have the extended build, and I think it fits perfectly. Of course there's going to be a roof on top of it, but yeah, I think it adds up to everything. That also leads me to something that we also do have to do. I told you guys in last week's episode as well that we are going to need all of the staff buildings in here for Pandasia, because if we are having the David's deer here, we're having 2 habitats for the giant pandas, and we're also going to have at least a habitat for the Chinese pangolin and maybe for the tanuki as well. We do need to have a new staff area here. So therefore I was thinking, and I also think I told you guys in last week's episode, that we will have somewhat of a little village around the palace where we are going to have all the staff buildings in here. So this is going to be just some decorational buildings to have somewhat of the illusion that we are in somewhat of a Chinese village or Chinese palace area, where we have all these little nice builds around there. And we're going to have a vet in there, we're going to have the keeper hut in there, the trading center, and also the staff room where they can have a break or whatever. So all the buildings that we do need to have our keepers nearby if something is going wrong with the animals, or if they need food or whatever, so that the keepers don't have to walk this very, 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 very long ways that they do need to walk right away now. So yeah. As you can see, I used this East Asian little cute and very nice bridge here. I'm going to fill the moat with water in a few minutes, and I wanted the pandas to be able to walk over the water, so over the bridge, over the water I have to say, into their habitat. Yeah, you know me. You know that I don't do measurements or anything. I'm just going to build, put the animals in the habitat, and then I'm just hoping for the best and hope that they can use everything. So therefore I didn't check if the pandas actually could walk over there. I just was hoping for the best. Yeah, first of all, I was hoping that the actual gate into the habitat was big enough so that the pandas can actually walk in there. I can give you a spoiler on that. They are able to leave the building through the gate, but unfortunately the bridge was a little too small for the panda, so he couldn't walk into the outdoor habitat over that little bridge, which was a bummer because I really do love the bridge. But then I thought, okay, he can't walk over the bridge, so let's delete it and let's build a bridge by ourselves. So I did that. In the end, you're going to see that in the last few minutes of this video. And so in the end, the panda is actually walking over the bridge into the habitat, and you are actually going to see exactly that by the end of the video. You're going to see the panda use the bridge. Yeah, I didn't want to have mud water or bad water in the mode, so I decided we're going to have the clean water in there and just put the what is it called if it is not that see-through? Invisibility. Is it invisibility? I turned it down a little bit so that you can't see through the water too much, so that it looks a little bit darker and you can see the ground of it. So yeah, and I think it looks pretty nice. Having some bamboo around and over the fence that we built there, so that you actually can't see the fence that much. So as a little bit of a cover up, I guess. Then coloring the terrain a little bit once more. And I think then we are going to go into rock work a little bit and planting. Oh, and putting the entrance gate in here, which actually was not that hard. And I was very happy because usually when I do something like this, something doesn't work out at all and I have to come up with a solution. But here everything worked out pretty great. So yeah, I know we have to cover the path up. We're going to do that in next week's episode as well. So we're working on a lot of things, and yeah. So having the door in here, this is where our keeper is going to enter the habitat, the indoor habitat for our giant pandas. And yeah, that's that. Oh, you also might have noticed that one of the indoor habitats, the one on the right side, is a little bit smaller. That is going to be the one for our female. I think I have to change that. I think I have to give the smaller one to the male because the female probably is going to have babies at some point, and therefore she might need a little bit more space. So maybe we're going to have the male in the smaller habitat. So we're going to move him in next week's episode, I think. I made it a little bit smaller because the inside of the building with the indoor habitats for the pandas felt a little bit narrow, a little bit too small and a little bit too pressed, and I didn't want to have that because I also want to work a little bit with decoration in here, and I couldn't do that if it was too small. So I decided to have just one indoor habitat slightly smaller than the other one, so that we can actually make it look a little bit more prettier. We're also going to work a lot with lighting in here as well. I want to have these Japanese lanterns in here. I want to make the roof a little bit nicer with some wooden beams on them. And yeah, it's going to look very, very pretty in the end, I hope, because I have a lot of ideas what we can do with this building. And I already do love it very, very, very much, and I think once it is finished, it might be one of the best buildings that I ever did in Planet Zoo. But you guys decide. You saw hopefully everything or most of the things that I did in here, so you are the judge. So tell me what you think about it. But yeah, I am really, really, really in love with this building. And I think, as I said, once again, in the end, once we finished everything, this is going to be pretty cool. And so multifunctional. I think I never did something like this before. Even when I think about Brooksburg Castle, because one of you guys was mentioning it in last week's episode, where he told me that this whole build reminded him of Brooksburg Castle. I think Brooksburg Castle was not that functional. We didn't have a gift shop or a restaurant in there, did we? No, I just think we did have toilets in Brooksburg Castle, and that's it. So yeah, therefore this is really something different and something special, and I'm proud of it already. And I also know, if someone of you guys wants to tell me that in the comment section, that we do have some gaps between the walls and the roof, so don't worry about that. We're going to work on that as well in next week's episode, when we are going to finish most of it or all of it. I just don't know already. So using the invisible barriers here, which also do work pretty well in the end. So we don't have any problems with any animals being able to escape their habitat. We also do have deselected that option, so animals are not doing that at all. But yeah, even if they would want to, they just couldn't. So very happy about that as well. So now I'm working a little bit on some climbing structures for the pandas. Pandas do love to climb. But are pandas good climbers? Or very talented climbers? No, they are not. So you might have seen some videos of pandas climbing stuff and falling down that stuff as well. So pandas are very, very clumsy. So therefore I wanted to give them something like a little bit of an elevated path, but not too high, so that they couldn't fall down and get hurt or something, but still have some fun with climbing some stuff. So yeah. So a little bit more toys in here. And in the end, our panda can reach everything that is in here. We had to change the middle part of the climbing area because it wasn't able to walk all along to the upper part. So I had to delete the tree trunk in the middle of it. But yeah, after that, the panda can now use the whole path in here and can walk along every single little piece in here. And as I said, the panda can reach every toy that we do have in here. The scratching tree, the food enrichment item, the huge one with the shaking tree or whatever you might call it. So he can use everything. And I do know that the habitat is not that big, but if we think about realistic zoo habitats for giant pandas, it might be in a size that you would actually see it in a real zoo as well. I was hoping that I could do it a little bit bigger, but also the space is a little bit limited in here. And yeah, I could have made it a little bit different. If we wouldn't have the water around it, it could be much bigger. But as I said, I think for a zoo, it is a very reasonable size. Yeah, just some planting around here. I didn't do that much, you know me, I'm more of a plants outside the habitat guy. Just some bison grass, some of the creosote bush, and now we're going to have some of the backstage props in the building as well, just placing it randomly. Oh, and just one more thing. I know that there were a lot of videos, or still are a lot of videos on my channel coming out day by day with all the stuff of Jurassic World Evolution 3, which I do enjoy very, very, very much. And I have to say that it is going to stay that way for a little bit longer, as long as I can manage to do that much videos. I hope you guys don't mind it. I hope you guys are okay with it. So I want you to tell me in the comment section if you are okay with the mess of videos on my channel. I know not every one of you is watching all of the videos. That is perfectly fine with me, but I just want you guys not to be bothered by it. So if it bothers you, just let me know in the comment section. I might be able to change a few things. I'm thinking also of stopping with the campaign videos in Jurassic World Evolution 3, because they don't get that much views. And yeah, I have so much fun doing these videos, but if they are not that well received, I might be stopping it at some point. I'm going to give it a try one more week, and then I'm going to decide after that. So as I said, just let me know in the comment section what you think about it, if you are bothered by the mess of videos on my channel, so that you get distracted and maybe can't find the newest videos here in Greenpine Zoo or my DLC Zoo series or whatever. Yeah, let me know. I really want to know what you guys think about it, and I really don't want you to be bothered with stuff here on my channel, because you should feel yeah, happy and welcome with everything that is going on my channel. So for the last part of this video, as I said, I'm going to build the bridge by myself, which the pandas actually can use. It needed to be slightly bigger than the one that we had before. It was perfectly fine for our keepers to use that bridge, but unfortunately it was a little bit too small for the pandas, so therefore I had to do this. But yeah, it still looks nice, and as you can see, the panda can use it right now. We're going to make it a little bit prettier. And here you could see that the panda actually was not able to walk all the way up here. First I thought it was because of the toy enrichment item, but it wasn't that way. So I decided to delete the tree trunk afterwards, and now he can walk all over it. But first, making the bridge look a little bit prettier. I also had to select all the pieces that were actually climbable for the pandas, because I didn't want to create a bridge that actually was wide enough, but in the end would end up to be too would end up not to be climbable for the pandas, which would be a mess as well. But here you can see it can use everything now, and it can walk everywhere as well. Yeah, and with that being said, we are at the end of today's video. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you liked what I built today. If you did so, leave a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe if you didn't do that already, and I hope you tune in next week as well, when we are going to finish or going to extend our build here in Pandasia for all of our Chinese animals. Have a great week and see you next time. Bye guys!